Hello, welcome to Jason the Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my parents' basement in the great state of Kansas. Coming back to review not just one, but three movies. And that was because I've been reviewing all of the movies in the Aliens and the Predator series because they're kind of connected with the Alien versus Predator movies. Uh, yeah, so there's some kind of supposed to be kind of somewhat in the same universe. I don't know. But I don't know. I kind of like the idea of because I haven't seen any of the Alien movies, and I've been reviewing those. And then the Predator movies, I've only seen two, so it's kind of fun to go through all of those as well and see, are these overrated movies? Are they underrated? Do I like any of these? We'll see. And so that's why I've been going through all of the movies, starting with Alien, the first Alien movie from 1979, whatever. And so we have a Predator movie coming up this weekend, this Friday, Predator Badlands. So it's the latest of the series. So be kind of fun to go through reviewing all the movies, and then I can review that new movie, and then I can do a ranking of all the movies, the Predator and Alien series. So I have three movies to get to that I've watched recently. Or one of them I didn't watch recently, but two of them I did. We have the Predator, Prey, and Alien Romulus. So those are the three last movies in the series before Predator Badlands. So I thought might as well just get all three reviews done in one live stream. So I'm gonna do one for each, and then I can do Predator Badlands. Hopefully, I can go see it sometime this weekend. I'm off work, so I should be able to go catch it this weekend at some point. Anyway, so yeah, so let's start with the Predator. Interesting. We have Predator, we have Predators, which is the last movie I reviewed, and this is the Predator. So uh, just putting the in front of the Predator this time. This is interesting because I remember this movie coming out not too long ago. This is a fairly recent. These are all recent movies. I feel like this movie came out within the last 5 years. I might be wrong. I forget. It might be a little longer, but the big new thing about this movie is that it's Shane Black writing, directing the movie. And I remember seeing the first trailer and being like, okay, it's sci-fi. What's going on? And all of a sudden it becomes a Predator movie. You're like, really another? I don't know. Every time I see a Predator alien movie, I always go, really another Predator alien movie? Like, haven't we had enough of these? That's what I always feel like. And so I'm like, okay, we get another Predator movie. I remember people being pretty hyped about it. I think it's because Shane Black, he was interesting enough an actor in the original Predator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Shane Black was one of the mercenaries, whatever, that was working for Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. Not so much known for his acting. He kind of got more well known for his writing and so forth. Lethal Weapon, I believe he wrote, and one of his big, really made him a big Hollywood writer. And then later he kind of almost had this comeback, I guess, with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Robert Downey Jr. Came, I don't know if it's a big hit, but it definitely people praised it a lot, and it's a good movie, and it's a good screenplay, and Robert Downey Jr. is great, and then Val Kilmer's great, and it's kind of a funny movie, and all this, and so I kind of enjoyed Shane Black's writing and all that, and that collaboration with Robert Downey Jr. then led to him directing Iron Man 3 with Robert Downey Jr. Obviously, they had a good collaboration there, and I really like. A lot of people don't like Iron Man 3. I feel like they got a lot of criticism. I really like Iron Man 3, and it's probably it's the funniest in the series. And Iron Man's usually pretty funny. All the movies are with Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark. There's a very funny character and a lot of good dialogue written for that character. Anyway, so I liked it. I don't know if everybody liked it, but anyways, but I felt like at that point, Shane Black is really, becoming somewhat popular to be you know, getting a lot of stuff, greenlit, that he wanted to write and direct or whatever. So interesting, he comes to the Predator again, his connection to the original. So it's kind of cool to have this guy that was original actor in the original movie come back now as a big, kind of somewhat bigger time writer director coming to write and direct a new Predator movie. Yeah. So and again, I don't mind that because I do like some of Shane Black's work here. But I remember this movie coming out, and it was on a lot of top 10 worst movies of the year list. I remember it got really bad reviews. People absolutely hated this movie. So I never really cared to go see it after seeing all that. And so finally come to see it, and I will say it's not that bad of a movie. I was kind of surprised that I actually kind of enjoyed this movie. and I don't really get what all the hate is on the movie. I wouldn't say it's one of the best movies, obviously, and one of the best Predator movies necessarily, but I actually felt myself pretty entertained by it. In this Predator movie, uh, we have a Predator who comes across some military men, and one survives, but no one believes him. They think he's crazy, and he gets into a military prison. And he meets all these other military prison people. Uh, I think 50 Cent is one of them, or something like that. One of the rappers is like the main one. I like we have Keegan Michael Key in here, which I really like him. I was excited to see him in this movie because Key and Peele is one of the funniest things ever. Um, I forget the other guy. There's the guy that played uh, played um, played the Punisher in one of the Punisher movies, um, and he was another one of the main characters. Anyways, and so we see this Predator. One Predator, he's kind of being somewhat captured by scientists, and he's being uh, what's the word, tested. He's being they're trying to figure out how it works, how he works, whatever. And he comes back and he like kills everybody just about in this facility and gets free. And then they're running after him. But then we find out there's a even worse predator, a really big like. And then I think they say he's more involved or something like that kind of predator. And so he gets involved, and he becomes the main predator that they fight. And because I think he wants to destroy like all planet Earth or something like that. And so the first predator actually was like a good predator, I guess, was trying to help mankind because this other predator wanted to destroy it. Again, I'm saying this like I don't really quite understand all the plot lines, but that seems to be the plot line. Even though the original or the first predator in the movie seemed like he still didn't mind killing people. That's always an interesting thing with the predator. He's always seems to, in later movies, he's almost somewhat helps the humans against like the aliens or whatever. He can kind of be good, but yeah, sometimes even the predator aliens don't mind killing innocent people whenever they feel the need to, which is interesting. But anyways, I know I'm going on about this, but yeah. So overthought is that I thought actually you had some pretty good action scenes, especially the last part where they all had to fight the big predator at the end. And there are actually some pretty good kills. I think this because the predator that they have to fight at the end is like a super predator. He's like way bigger than a normal predator and stronger and all this. And so they really have to team up together. A lot of different people team up to fight him, and they kind of strategize how they get. And they have to use his like own technology against him, basically, to defeat him. They even get on a ship that has like a force field around it to get to him, and all this. So I thought actually the action scenes were actually really well done, and I thought the last climatic action sequence was really good, and I was enjoying how they found out how to defeat the predator. It seemed like because he was just too overpowering, but somehow they figured out how to work together and defeat him. And the way they did defeat him, I thought was really good. So there's some stuff there that I really enjoyed overall as an action movie. Even like the scene where the predator gets free, the one predator, and just kind of massacres all these scientists was an interesting scene as well. And the predator was done very well. Like the first predator was like done very well. I would say the bigger predator though definitely was overly CGI'd, which is always a problem with these kind of movies because he was, the first predator in the movie, like the most predators are, somewhat human like. They're big, they're strong, but they at least seem somewhat human sized. But the last one, he definitely was like, it's a giant predator, so they have to make him CGI and stuff like that. But still, it didn't look it didn't look perfect, but it worked, I think. And the overall design of the predator is still very good design. Um, like I said, people really hated this movie, and I have to go back and figure out why. Except I think some of the humor did not work, and which is Shane Black is known for his humor, I think, and especially when the main character, I'm forgetting, I don't remember who the actor is, but when he gets on a bus with all these other, like I said, all these other military prisoner, and they're all kind of somewhat crazy or whatever, and the comedy there just was a little cringy or off, especially like I said, the one guy who I said he was the Punisher in a movie. I remember, I forget his name, but he had like Tourette's syndrome, so he was constantly like yelling out curse words, all of a sudden. And that's supposed to be funny, but it wasn't funny. It was just annoying. I think it was one of the worst ideas in the movie. Is that character, and a lot of the humor in the whole scene was like, okay, they're trying to be funny, but they're not. They're just annoying and cringe, and I can see that can turn a lot of people off. And I kind of was when I first half of the movie. I was kind of like, okay, the humor is not working. I don't know, not a lot of action maybe, or not a lot of stuff going on. I think the second half movie is much better when you get the main Predator villain on screen, and we get some more action scenes with that, and we have a common goal against that character. Anyways, and yeah, I thought the action was much better in second. Anyways, so at first I was like kind of with people like, yeah, it's not great, but yeah, I wasn't hating it necessarily. But then this last, like I said, second half movie, I actually really liked it. I thought it was really well done, and I thought it was a good closing scene in the movie. Um, I don't know. So I came away. This might be a big surprise. My hot take is that I thought it was a good movie. I give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. It's not a great movie by any means. It's not a solid movie. Not one of the best in the series, but it's one of the few ones that I'm giving a green light to or green arrow to. So yeah, it surprised me. But yeah, The Predator, I'm giving it a recommend on my level. All right, next movie is Prey. And again, this came out just a couple of years ago, I feel like, and it was a Hulu exclusive like movie. And now I'm gonna forget the name of the director, but it's an interesting director because he was a movie reviewer. In fact, I used to listen to him on a podcast where he reviewed movies, and he wanted to, of course, be a writer director. And so it's kind of cool. I kind of saw his journey from being a podcaster reviewing movies to then getting the chance to. He directed his first movie. Oh, now I don't remember. It was kind of a horror thriller type movie as well, with John Goodman. There's aliens involved. Now I'm forgetting the name of the something Street, I think was the name of the movie. But it was actually a pretty cool thriller overall. I thought it was very well done, and I think that's what got him to then do the movie Prey. And and it'd be interesting. Again, I wish I remembered what the director's name is, but I'm interested in what he does in the future because I actually think he's a pretty good director and he directs good, like kind of thriller action type stuff. Anyways, but yeah, I remember Prey coming out, and I watched it when it came out on Hulu, of course, because streaming, so it was easy to get to. And again, this might be my hot take. I thought it was a really boring movie, and I was not a fan of Prey. I know my friend Norin Rad 89. He just did a thing about like the best horror movies in the last 15 years, and Prey was one of the movies um, on the list. Um, and so I'm sorry, Norin, that I'm going to disagree. Like, I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again, but for this, I'm just going off my original watching of the movie when it came out. And part of the problem is and the premise um, in the movie, it kind of takes place in the past and the main characters are Native Americans, not the normal, Americans, I guess, in modern day setting, or whatever. But we go past like the Predator came to Earth in the past and dealt with Native Americans, and also there's like French traders also in the movie that he gets to kill. Anyways, and part of the problem is that the Native Americans are not speaking English or speaking some Native American language, and so they're speaking their subtitles. I get bored real easy with movies with subtitles. That's just my thing. I'm not a big fan of those. So I think my problem with this movie is just that I got real bored real quick with all the subtitles. And then there's a lot of parts just this. It's all about this woman who wants to be a warrior. It's like, haven't we seen this story before? And it's so popular right now to have women wanting to be warriors or being the mightiest warrior. They Hollywood loves to do that. So it's a little bit of a wokeism there, I think, that I'm not a fan of. That we're trying to make women more powerful than men or whatever. And so she's trying to be like this warrior. So there's a lot of storylines that really has nothing to do with the Predator, just her trying to prove herself in this tribe or whatever. Um, and then we finally do get to a point where um, the predator starts attacking, and it kills a lot of Native. There's action scenes with the Native Americans, and I don't know, but none of it was that interesting like some of the other Predator movies. I don't know. I just wasn't into the action overall and the characters and the whole storyline. Just I don't know. It never captured me. And then the way she kind of like nobody could kill this predator. There's only one predator in this movie, which is kind of boring. And the only way she kind of figured she kind of tricked the predator and defeated it. And I was like, okay, like no one could do it except for this one woman who's trying to prove herself and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I was just really bored with Prey personally, and uh, it's one of my least favorite. I give it like 1 star, which is again surprising. People love Prey. It got really good reviews, and I don't know. It just wasn't for me. All right, so the last movie I just watched a couple days ago is the last Alien movie, which came out just last year, Alien Romulus. Interesting movie that kind of takes place between Alien and Aliens. So it's kind of interesting, kind of section, like the way it kind of is in between two of the big movies in the franchise. Again, it came out last year. I remember seeing the trailer and like oh my god, like the trailer even looked a little too scary for me. So I was not planning on seeing this movie. My friend again, Norin Rat 89. I know he on the Old Millennial Awards that I did last year this early this year for 2024. He had Alien Romulus as his favorite horror movie of 2024. So I know he was a big fan of this movie. I was like, and I think it did pretty well. I've heard some criticism of it, and I think it was a little divisive, maybe whatever. Um, but coming into this movie, I will say this is like one of the best directed Alien movies I've seen in the series, and I think it's the scariest Alien movie in the series, and it's the most thrilling. So I have a lot of positive things to say about Alien Romulus. Coming from someone who, again, who's not a horror fan necessarily, but I do love thrills, movies with thrills and stuff in them. So I don't mind that part of it. Um, I feel like this is like what a lot of people talk about the first Alien movie, like oh man, it was so yeah, so scary and thrilling, and it's this masterpiece movie. And I feel like I watch Alien Romulus, and I think this is like the movie that Alien should have been. Like what people say about Alien, I'll say about Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus was so much more scarier and thrilling and edge of your seat movie than the original Alien movie is for me. So I don't know if that's part of just nostalgia for the first Alien movie for people. But watching Alien Romulus, man, it had a pretty good pace to it overall. And man, there's some exciting moments in this movie. And it's all these kind of young people. They go into the ship and I can't remember what they're doing. They get on the ship to get something out of it, and they come across first they come across a bunch of facehugger aliens, which to me might have been the scariest part of the whole, because the facehuggers always been kind of scary to me, even scarier than the actual xenomorph aliens, I think, because one thing is that they look like spiders a little bit. They have like a lot of legs, and when they crawl around, and they remind me of spiders, and I'm scared of spiders, so I hate anything that's kind of creepy and crawly. So that's one reason why the facehuggers always kind of creeped me out and scared me. Um, and so that's what there's one scene. It's the best scene I've ever seen an alien movie with the face huggers. Plus, face huggers, the whole thing is that they wrap themselves on your face and they put a thing down your throat and they impregnate you, which eventually an alien bursts out of your stomach. That's the worst part of the alien movies is the face huggers impregnating your face, and alien pops out of your chest. It's the most gruesome thing about the whole series and the whole idea behind it. Um, and there's a scene where they come across all these face huggers start falling and they're in water, which is even scarier because you can't see them because they're in the water. And they're like, oh, what the heck is that? And all these face huggers jump in the water, and then they jump at you. That's the other thing that's scary is all of a sudden. And there's one, and it said it's shot very, very well. There's one scene where someone's like turned around and there's a face hugger like on their back or something like that or something, and the camera, like when it turns to it, the facehugger jumps out. Definitely a great jump scare. It jump scared me. I'm like, oh my god, like that was so well done. But that whole scene with them running away, trying to fight off these all these creepy crawlers, and they're really fast, and they have to shut the door, and one gets through, and they're trying to fight that one before it tries to impregnate one of them. Yeah, incredible scene. I think, like I said, very scary, very thrills and all that. Um, yeah, I do like a lot of actors. Like there's the one actor who plays like an android. You always have an android in these alien movies, and he was very good. He was kind of the skittish android. It's kind of interesting how human is he is like, but yet he is talks like an android. But his facial expressions are so great, or the way he talk. I don't know. It was a great character, and the fact that you don't know is he going to, because the whole problem with androids is like I think they're programmed to help the humans or be on the human side, but then it can always be programmed to go against the humans or be on the side or whatever, and that's what happens throughout the series. Anyways, so you're not sure if it's loyalty, which is kind of interesting as well. And then a really cool thing is that they come back with the android from the first movie, played by Ian Holmes, who of course has passed away now. But they had like a you know, I don't know what you call it, CGI Ian Holm, kind of like what he was at the end of the Alien movie, because he was all kind of destroyed a little bit. He was kind of, bleeding some kind of, fluid. And so that was so cool to bring back that character, because they don't know what's going on, who these xenomorph aliens are, and then to have that character show up. So this is the ship basically from Alien, I guess, is what it is that they're kind of looking at and trying to, whatever they're trying to get from it. And they come across that android from the first movie. That was a cool callback to the first movie, I will say. Um, anyway, so and it kind of becomes a villain somewhat in the movie again. It was kind of a villain in the first movie, the villain in this movie. So that's kind of cool how that played into it, and how you question the loyalty, like I said, of the new android in this movie. Anyways, and the relationship it has with one with like its owner, it's pretty interesting. And throughout the movie, we get more xenomorph, a bunch of them. They grow so fast. I never understand how fast they grow, but all of a sudden, it's infiltrated with xenomorphs, and we get some pretty good kills by them. And I do love, again, what's so cool about the xenomorphs is when they're crawling. When you get a bunch of them, they're crawling on walls and stuff. Man, that is creepy and scary, and works very well. And there's one scene I really loved is that she grabs like one of the main girl character grabs like a some kind of gun that's it's not bullets, but it's like kind of maybe more lasers or something, I don't know, but it has like a power thing that keeps shrinking, and so once it gets all the way down to zero, then she can't fire anymore. So she has a limited amount of fires, and uh she is firing at all these xenomorph aliens coming at her, and I think maybe some face huggers. And that was a cool scene with her shooting, killing all these xenomorph aliens coming at her. And you're also watching the thing go down lower and lower, going, oh my gosh, does she have enough firepower? What if she runs down to zero and then she's dead, So that was a really cool scene overall, kind of cool action, thrilling scene in itself. Yeah, that's all great. But yeah, so I'll say that it was a great looking movie. I think cinematography was really good. It was directed very well by a director I don't know at all. Really cool movie. I think one of the best in the series. And I think, like I said, this is the first one where I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like what I think Alien should be like. Very kind of scary, thrilling types movie that it provided. So they finally kind of did what I thought the first movie should have done. I will talk about the main negative that kind of brings the movie down for me is the last 20 minutes of the movie. I really did not enjoy, and it's hard. How do I describe without giving off too much stuff? Except that you think they kind of won. They defeat all the xenomorph aliens, and they're going to escape and all this, and then we get this xenomorph alien human hybrid. It's very weird because it has kind of like a human face. It has like a tongue that comes out, kind of like it has this long tongue that comes out, kind of like the xenomorph alien has a mouth within the mouth. And so it has a tongue with a mouth in it, and it comes out, and it kind of looks like a vampire, like it just wants to suck people's blood or something. And it's just a weird looking creature. It's very CGI'd, of course. And when that came out, I'm like, oh God, no, not this. It reminded me so much of Alien Resurrection when we got this. Again, we got Alien human hybrid in Alien Resurrection. It looked really weird and I don't know, so off-putting. And it's like, it did the same thing here. So it's like, I didn't like that they kind of redid what I thought was the worst part of that movie, and it was definitely the worst part of this movie because it was like it was all really cool until that moment, and then I'm like, oh god, now she has to escape this human hybrid alien thing that looks so weird and uh, just I don't know. I didn't like as much as I just rather it be a xenomorph or like the Queen Mother. Like I like when they have to fight like the Queen Mother because it's like a giant xenomorph alien with a lot of arms and stuff. Is more interesting than these human hybrid stuff that she has to try to escape from. It's kind of thrilling, but yet I'm like, it's so stupid. I just do not even care um, about this. Um, the ending. And so 20 minutes doesn't quite ruin the movie, but it definitely brings my score down. I think I'm still going with a 3 out of 5 on this. I think I've gotten 3.5 stars on this movie. It wasn't for that last part. Really kind of bringing the movie down for me in a strange way. But still, I give it 3 out of 5 stars, which means it's, I mean, it's not a strong recommend, it's a light recommend, but still, for me, that's pretty good because I don't really recommend a lot of these alien movies. They're not usually my style. But I will say this is really one of the best well done movies in the series, Alien Romulus. So I'd recommend that one if you haven't seen it personally. Anyway, so that's my review of those 3 movies. Uh, Hopefully, I'll get another one out this week about Predator Badlands and see how that is. Anyways, besides that, thanks so much for anybody watching this video. Please comment what your thoughts on the Predator, Prey, and Alien Romulus are. If you like him or not as well. And besides that, thank you so much for everybody. Thank you all my subscribers supporting the channel. I appreciate you all. Hope you have a good day.